last 4 years, I have been a prisoner in Suite 317 of the Metropole Hotel. It has a window at least. Just about fit on this bed. G sharp, I believe.
I wanted to start by talking a bit about the Count and his character, because he's obviously under extremely trying circumstances and has tragedy in his past, but there's still a real kind of bounce to him. And I was wondering what you made of that characterization and his ability to kind of see the glass half full.
Yeah, it's really what beautifully discussed in the novel, Amor Towles' novel, and I was lucky enough to know that I was playing the Count before I started to read his book, because I'd met a British executive producer, Tom Harper, who'd introduced me to Ben Vanstone, our writer and show runner, and I think I'd read probably an early draft of episode 1 and 2, or maybe just episode 1, I forget. But so I'd agree. I knew I was going to play him. I was very excited about the whole prospect. But then I started reading the novel, and it was like every page was like a Christmas present of, his writing is so great, Amor, and I knew the character. I think all of us who've read the book, we just feel like we know him, and he came to life in my mind. So there, in the book, there's a great deal of discussion about his belief in finding the positive. I mean, being polite and manners and poise and what have you, but also really making the most out of things. Even though, like you say, he's lost his sister. There's a great darkness in his past, an event that we sort of learn about as the series unfolds. So yeah, that was a fun part of his character to play, for sure.
And I've seen you talking a bit about how you felt connected to the Count, and I was wondering if you could kind of talk a bit about how exactly you related to him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel in one way, I just feel like I knew him from reading the book, and I just had to try and be him, and it was effortless because I've really felt like I knew who he was, I felt like I knew him from the inside in a way, and because of the quality of Amor's writing, probably. And then another way, the story becomes a story about, of course, it's about an aristocrat after the revolution, and he's under house arrest in this spectacular hotel, and he has to learn to live in a new way where he can't step foot outside. But ultimately becomes a story about the things he believes are important in his life, the etiquette and manners and poise, and start crumbling away to reveal what's truly important to him as he falls in love with the actress Anna Urbanova, and as he befriends the young girl Nina, and she becomes like his little soulmate and teaches him a sort of childlike way to exist in this hotel. It shows him all these back passages and secret rooms and all of the space that is around inside the hotel, but around it that the guests never see. She sort of teaches him to see the place through new eyes, if you like. And then later on in the story, he becomes a father, and I'm a father of 4 girls. I'm lucky enough to have a boy now. Have a Mary, and I have a son, Laurie. But this relationship with young girls, I'm very familiar with because I've got 4 girls of my own, and so there was something very that really appealed to me about. I understood this relationship, this fun relationship that he has with Nina, and then it was really only when I was making this series, I'm so stupid, that I realized, of course, it's also an adoption story. It's a story about the Count who becomes the father of a little girl that he's not the father, or not the birth father of, and he becomes her dad, and I have an adopted daughter, Jamian, and so I realized as I'm making it, like, oh, this is also my story too, in a way.
And obviously you mentioned your wife is playing Anna. I was wondering how that came about. Were you kind of keen to work together again and play love interest again?
Yeah, I mean, we're always just I love her. I love her, but I love her as an actor. I love her work, and I think she's an amazing actress. And So we're always we always have our eye out for something to do together. We met working together on Fargo season 3. We did Birds of Prey together, although we didn't share many scenes in that. And so as I was reading the novel, and I kept dropping hints, like, oh, there is a great character in here. But in the book, a lot of their story happens off the page. A lot of, years go by in the novel from page 32 to 34. Literally, there's big gaps, and a lot of their story line happens in those gaps. So I didn't know whether Mary would, if it was a big enough role for Mary, but in our series, she's much more present in the story and becomes much more of a central character to the plot line at the end of the story, which I'm not going to talk about or spoil. But she started talking to her people about this character, and she gets to play, a movie star from the 1920s, and it's just a perfect role for her. She's phenomenal. She makes a phenomenal. She is a great movie star, but she plays a real great movie star. So.
Yeah, and I understand that the actors and writers strike fell in the middle of filming.
Yes.
And it's over such decades, the series. So I was wondering what that was like, whether that ended up helping, kind of returning when you did return to filming, and whether you managed to kind of shake off the count, and when you were kind of taking a break from it.
No, it was different. It was an odd. I mean, it was an odd time anyway. Of course, all of the uncertainty and not knowing at all for not just for me, but for all of us, all of the actors, but also for everyone else that the strike impacted, which was a great many people. All the crew, caterers, drivers. The ripple effect of the strike was massive, but which just made me wonder why the studios took so long to do anything about it. It was really. A difficult time. So, and like you say, we were so close to the end. We'd shot maybe 100 days, and we had 8 shooting days left when the strike happened. We almost did it. We almost made it, and then we didn't. And then, of course, the strike lasted for months and months, and so it was weird. I couldn't just. It's difficult to know exactly what it means, but I couldn't drop him. I couldn't just forget about the Count. I wasn't sitting there reading the novel every day, but some part of my mind was unable to just let him go like you would normally do at the end of a job, and also just practically speaking, I had my own moustache, and I wasn't going to shave it off. I'd had it for almost a year by that point, and I didn't want to shave it off because I had no idea when we'd start again or if I'd be able to grow it back. So I just had to keep it, and as a result, I grew. I didn't want my moustache in my life as me. So I just grew a beard around it, but I ended up with this enormous beard by the time the strike ended. And that became very useful because there is a coda at the end of the show. And, don't say coda because that'll spoil things. But there is a scene in which we see the Count with a beard. And they'd already started to make me one because they were going to stick one on, which never looks great, in my view. And so the lucky part of it was I was able to use my own beard when we came back, and we shot that scene first and then shaved it back. And so it was quite, but I was nervous about coming back to it because I was so in the rhythm of playing him. I'm in all of it, and I'd been shooting for almost 6 months, I guess, 5 months or something. So I was really in the rhythm of him, and then at this massive break. I was a bit nervous about coming back and not, in case I couldn't find him again or something, but it was pretty, as soon as we got back, it was fine, yeah. We got going and he was there, so it was fine.